that he made $300 the first year, so it was a good thing that we weren't going together then. And he did talk to my father, and he did tell him how much he was making a year, which was, at that point, $5,000 a year. He sent out Christmas cards the first year and had purchased them. They were black velvety stuff with shiny gold print and pictures of three wise men. And one of the cards was sent to Terrace Park, Kalinowski. And they were so impressed with that card that they called him in for an interview. So Terrace Park and Paulsen Advertising were hand in hand for a lot of years. He started at the Boyce Greeley building. It was one room and half a room. And then he expanded all the way down the hall until they had the front office right across from the elevator. There were times when the person who was placing the ad couldn't pay for the ads that they had placed. And Maury picked up, he paid the bills, so that he was very popular with all the media because they knew that if Maury's name was on a contract, he was good for it.
We always knew that Paulsen Advertising was going to be, our invoices were sent out and paid immediately.
We had Polly Parrot potato chips as an account, and Maury thought the thing that would be really outstanding is to get a parrot. So he ordered a parrot. It came in a crate, and the parrot had to be hunched over. He opened the crate in the garage, and he had the chain that was to go around the foot of the parrot. And the parrot couldn't fly a lot because its wings were clipped, but it was able to move quite rapidly. And I think for an hour we chased that parrot. The idea was to get the bird to say, "Polly Parrot potato chips, so fresh." And since a parrot responds to a woman's voice more than to a man's voice, it was me that was involved in training the parrot. So he put it on a tape, and so it played over and over and over. That went on all day long. And I just about went wild. But the bird learned to say, "Polly Parrot potato chips, so fresh." So in the aisle by the potato chips was this bird who said, "Polly Parrot potato chips, so fresh," And unfortunately, the bird also learned, "Hey, Mama," from the little kids that would see the parrot. And the bird said, "Hey, Mama," as a very pregnant woman walked by. And that was the end of the parrot in stores. Dane was in the business from the time that he was in 4th grade.
Probably at the age of 6 or 7, got involved in advertising for Terrace Park Dairy. There seems to have been some sort of quiz show that my parents were involved with as contestants, and we paused for a commercial break. And I delivered a commercial for chocolate milk, and apparently that was good enough to get filmed, and it indeed increased milk sales. So I was off to a new career as a spokesperson for Terrace Park Dairy at the young age of whatever it was, 7, 8, 9 years old. In 9th grade civics, I was going to be either an airline pilot, a meteorologist, or an advertising person, advertising marketing executive. And went through high school with those things in mind, and worked on some writing and some skill sets, and decided I wanted to go work with Dad.
He built the office building at 39th and Phillips.
I started December 29th, 1979. In my case, it was fairly easy. I thought Dad gave me a lot of rope. I made some stupid errors. I never got yelled at. I know I created some disappointments, but I also created some joy and some pride. I think he often said he was proud of how I was coming along. He certainly was an outstanding businessman when it came to keeping his word. He wasn't always the most profitable guy, but he always wanted to do it right, and so I certainly learned from him how to do that and the importance of that. That honesty really is the best policy. So 1986, he was diagnosed with cancer, first in lung, then in brain, then in throat. In 1987, he was still working at the agency, although the decision to hang it up and to leave the agency was obviously a very hard one for him to make. He passed away just months after that point in October of '87. And yeah, I found myself with an agency of about 10 other people, most of whom, if not all of them, were older than I was, some significantly older, kind of looking at the boss's kid going, okay, now what are we going to do? And so yeah, those were some interesting times to work through, at the same time grieving the loss of a father and a boss with 2 young children, and going, okay, here we go.
Then, after he died, then Thane ran out of room and built the building that's there now. But even that had to be added on. So,
but the staff stuck with me, and we created a plan, and a lot of neat things that I think were more than just coincidence happened in that time frame. Joe Thompson called me and said, Cole McBoy wants me to buy out the branch agency of Sioux Falls. Don't really want to do that. I'd just soon come to work for you. And so within a year, Joe was working here and brought some wisdom and some seniority in terms of account service skills as well.
As I told people when I went to work here, I really felt comfortable because of the atmosphere in the agency. We were not gray flannel. We were just hardworking businessmen that went to work every day with the idea of taking care of our customers, our clients.
And then a little organization named TAG, the agency group, I got a call from who has now been a friend for 20-some odd years, Kirk Howard, from an agency in Wausau, Wisconsin, who said, we run this little group of agency presidents that we can learn best practices from and try to build our agencies better. And I've leaned heavily on that group through those transition years, and now find myself on the other side being more of a mentor teacher for some of the other agencies that have come in since. In 1995, I believe, Gregory Scott and Paulsen Advertising, then Paulsen Marketing Communications, decided to join forces. And Ron Clausen and Greg and Dort came, and with that came more agricultural accounts and more agricultural emphasis and more growth. Having Greg join the firm was obviously a good thing for Paulsen, and hopefully for him as well and his family. And several years after that, we started moving more and more toward an agricultural emphasis, and got us to where we are today. Well, with all the things that change, some things don't, and I think the success to running a good business these days is the same things my dad taught me, which are the integrity and the honesty and doing the job the best you can the first time. And if you can't get it right the first time, then get it right the second time, and make sure the needs of the client are put forth in such a way that we can continue operating a business. I think that's in some cases how other agencies have failed, not only in not paying their bills well and not keeping track of the bottom line, but also it's in the end we are in a service business, and we do have to take care of our clients. And Paulsen has a long-standing history of being able to do that and still have a good working environment for its people. Without the people, we got nothing. I mean, our assets walk out the door every night, and if they don't come back, we're bankrupt, period. I mean, we really are. And always been for all these 30-some years. incredibly indebted to the fact that these people are putting their heart and soul into their work, and without them we got nothing. Paulsen's roots are, of course, in a family business. It's less of a family business technically now, but we certainly want to keep those roots nourished.
That Paulsen was known for its honesty, integrity, quality, all the things that a good business needs. I think God blesses that kind of an operation. I think that the interaction among the personnel, the fact that everybody has a feeling of accomplishment and hopefully enjoy what they are doing, that was the same thing that made it go from the very beginning and has made Paulsen what it is today.